I came across a post the other day where someone simply asked, what is everybody doing to feel fulfilled in retirement? Because I'm struggling. And well over 1,000 people responded. Naturally, you expect a lot of suggestions, ideas, things to do. You know, the usual stuff, which I'll touch on in a moment. But the more I read through the responses, the more something stood out for me. It wasn't the suggestions, it was how many people were quietly saying that they didn't really know either. So if you've retired and you're wondering why it doesn't feel as fulfilling as you thought it would, this might help you understand what's really going on, and most of all, give you some comfort that you're not alone on this one. Because if you think about it, most of us go into retirement with a picture in our mind. You know, the usual stuff around having more freedom, less stress, etc. More time to do what you enjoy. And sure, when you read through the responses, there was plenty of people saying that. They were talking about things like travel, hobbies, golf, volunteering, staying active, keeping busy. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with any of that. In fact, a lot of it sounds pretty good. And they, in fact, are some of the things that I actually do. But here's what really stood out for me, because mixed in with all of those suggestions were comments like, I'm still looking. I don't understand what to do in retirement. I got bored and I went back to work. Or I'd actually prefer to work part-time. And even people saying they had no idea how to fill their time. And when you see that over and over again, you start to realise something. Look, the issue isn't a lack of things to do. The issue is a lack of clarity about what actually feels meaningful anymore. Because when you stop working, you just don't lose your routine. You lose your structure, your direction. And in many ways, you lose a part of your identity. For years, sometimes decades even, you knew where you were needed. You knew what your role was. And then one day, well, that's gone. So what do? We try to fill the gap. This can be by staying busy. We take up hobbies. We look for things that make us feel fulfilled. But here's the problem. Being busy and fulfilled aren't the same thing. You can have a full day and still feel like something's missing. And that's the part no one really talks about. Because when I stepped back and looked at all those responses, there seemed to be three groups. People were keeping busy, filling their time with activities. Some people were focusing outward, helping others. And then there were the people who were just being honest. They were still figuring it out, still adjusting, still trying to understand what this next phase of life is meant to look like. And that group was a lot bigger than I expected. And maybe that's the part we need to hear more often, because we tend to think, well, once I retire, I should feel fulfilled, like it's something that just happens. But maybe it doesn't work like that. Maybe fulfillment in retirement isn't something you arrive at. Maybe it's something you have to rediscover. And if that's the case, then not knowing what fulfills you right now isn't a failure, it's part of the process. It's you adjusting. It's you working out who you are without the structure you had before. And interestingly, some of the most grounded responses weren't big, life-changing ideas. They were simple. Things like do something productive, something healthy, something relaxing. Not all at once, just let it flow. Others talked about helping people, not as a solution, but as something that gave them day-to-day meaning. And some simply said, take time to get to know yourself. No pressure, no urgency. So maybe the goal in retirement isn't to immediately find out what fulfills you. Maybe it is to give yourself the space to figure out what that even is. Because when you really look at it, you're not the only one asking that question. Thousands of people are. They're just not all saying it out loud. And if that's where you are now, you're probably a lot closer to actually having fulfillment more than you think. So with all of that said, where are you with all of this? Has retirement been fulfilling for you so far? Or are you still navigating through it, wondering how to discover your new normal? Share your thoughts in the comments, guys, below. I'd really love to hear from you. And as always, I really appreciate you watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.